I see so many people commenting, negative stuff like, or you do it for likes, or you do it for views, or you do it for attention. All
Yeah.
of that stuff that questioning my character usually comes from people who want to be me,
Yeah.
who want to have a following.
So I tried to do a video on that the other day, and I was trying not to sound like as conceited as can be. But some of the best advice I ever got in my life was, don't argue with somebody that's worth more money than you. And it was like, wow, that really makes sense. Then I start like dissecting these comments, and I'm like, wow, you're a fucking idiot. You're an idiot. No, that's actually not how you do it. There's 10 ways to do it. I'm giving an example of one way of those 10 ways to do it. So, no, very interesting. But I just thought that was cool.
Let's talk about it on the podcast. So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna make me.
You want to start out with alcohol?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Well, I'll start with my coffee. That's what I'm saying. Do you want a coffee, tea, water?
Tea would be great.
Okay, let's see what I can do. Guys, keep rolling just in case he said something stupid.
I say something fucking stupid every fucking day. So, so Brad Lee, what made you go to Brad Lee? Because you just went and kind of interviewed his setup, right?
I've been with him twice.
Okay.
So I interviewed him years ago. When I signed up for Lightspeed, I interviewed him. And then later, it was when I was fighting Lee Hate. He knows Lee Hate really well.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, because Lee Hate is also on Lightspeed. So what happened was.
So does he have a roofing school as well? I don't follow that guy to say. I wouldn't follow that guy to save my life.
So he's also his client. So he is on the Lightspeed. And what happened was let's go to the kitchen. I'll make you a coffee there. When fight took place. Bradley messaged me several times, like about $60,000 payout, this and that, and then when the fight was happening, I think we had few text messages about the fight, real, whatever, and then just something about the fight, and also about the other. He was speaking at the roofing process conference. I sold it to him.
Yeah, I started talking to him right, and he said that. I didn't know that he knew you, and he started talking about Lance, how you sold everything to him, and I was like, we're going to see him.
Yeah. So I had multiple, a lot of text messages. Every time he introduced someone, he made a couple of recommendations. But then when we went there, he told me, sue him, because in Florida, if you said a word, and just, he was, your word is your contract, that's what he said. And he's like, you should sue him.
You're not going to get anything. You can't get water out of a rock, right? I don't know. Every now and then some shit of his will pop up in my feed, and it's just, what the hell are you teaching your guys? Like, what was I saw it somewhere, I can't even remember where he's training his guys to like do the roof and fucking sue him, do and sue or some shit like that. And it's like, it's motherfuckers like you that don't even need to be in our industry. It's like, seriously though.
It's not a good business owner.
I feel like that's a
No.
So I think it's a few things. So I stepped back and I kind of looked at him. I think that he is doing a lot of things to try to recover his image. I think that he is trying to
From fight loss?
Or
from loss in general?
Well, I think it's in loss in general. I think that it's the whole thing of, I think he misrepresents a lot. I think he doesn't speak from his heart. I think that he thinks, and we'll talk about this because I used to be, go, anger, and now it's like it's calm, it's relaxed, it's peace. I think he's got a lot of self-limiting beliefs. I think that he's got a lot of internal things I would sit there and have an interview with him. I would look at him and I would say, how would you want to be treated in your situation? Would you want to be on the other side of the stick? If you were the homeowner, how would you respond to that? If you sat back and you were sitting in the chair while you're doing this, this presentation, how would you feel? Is that really how you want a contractor to come in and take over? Because I don't know anybody that does that. I really don't. It's like me coming in and saying, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to sue this, we're going to do their roof, I'm going to put all the liability on you, I'm going to, and fuck you, we're going to kick in the door and we're going to get it. That's a way to do it, but and I'm not going to say the right way because there's a right or wrong way to do it. I don't feel like it's the moral way to do it. I don't feel like it is the honest way. I've been in a lot of situations. I've been in $1 million lawsuits. I've been, I have a lot of experience. Nobody, we went after a contractor. So it was, we can get into it if you want to. But it was a historical building. It was an insurance claim that I took from 30,000 to 1.9 million in 6 weeks. And so it started out with a wind repair on some shingle. We start taking off some shingle. We find out that the shingles are nailed to a gypsum deck. And so anyone knows gypsum's like is drywall. So literally the wind damage happened because there was nothing to hold the fastener. There was no pull-out strength. There was no PSI, right? And we went through, we got everything. We ended up, I worked with the engineers, 14 gauge patch channel, 5/8 pressure treated over top of that, into the structural beams, and ice and water, everything. Then we had our flat roofs, and then we had a Ludovici roof. And everyone knows Ludovici is expensive as hell, handmade, custom from Italy. Thank you very much. Everything went great. Everything went great with the owner. The owner couldn't have been happier. He didn't tell me he was selling the building. And so there was 2 Jewish guys out of New York. And 2 days before I was supposed to get a $990,000 payment, they came in and said, no, stop everything and stop the project. So we had pushed to get the owner everything. We had built probably $500,000 cash into it. Like he needed it done by February. Well, did he get paid? I ended up having to settle for, I think I got $350,000 on top of the $300,000 I had already gotten. I couldn't afford it. Drugged me. I had $100,000 in three. I couldn't do it. I also had my coach, right? And my coach said, you need to make the decision. How much is this weighing on your life right now? And it was weighing a lot. It was holding me back. It was holding me back from being the father that I wanted to be, the attention to my kids. I was miserable.
The lawsuits will wear you down. Any conflict, the energy is just will take you down.
So I made the decision. I took the turn. I said, you know what? If I settle for this $350,000, that leaves, $700,000-800,000 on the table. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because I knew I would make it back just like that. It would.
So you made peace with it for personal.
I made peace with it so I could turn that negative.
It's a teapot, just disconnect it.
Just
take it off.
I turned the energy from being pissed off, sad, mad, frustrated, and focusing on the lawsuit to, all right, now I'm going to build more capital. Now I'm going to find more projects. Now what's the next step in my branding? What's the next step here? And the second that and it was Halloween night. I was in my office, at my home office, and it was probably 7 o'clock at night. And it really struck me. I mean, the tears started coming from my eyes because my kids were going out trick or treating. And here I am talking to my attorney, waiting for the mediator, going through all of that shit. I just looked at my attorney and I said, I don't know what the fuck you guys have to do. I don't really give a shit. I want 350 grand. I'm going to Halloween. I'm going to trick or treat with my kids. Like, this is my kids. I'm not going to let, I pulled my head out of my ass. And I was just like, don't forget you have a family, man. Like, you can get so caught up in business and shit. You can't forget about your kids.
That's the hardest part of construction. Not the projects, but that feeling when you come in, they're still sleeping or already sleeping, or you leave there sleeping. It's the hardest thing.
Are you still married?
Yeah. 5 kids. Dropping my kids. If I'm not traveling, I'm dropping my kids every morning to school. I go to every game I possibly can. I would say I go to like 90% of the games. Sometimes my wife, because when you have 5 kids, you have to pick and choose. You take him, I take her. You're gonna love this. So I have a business partner in Florida, and last week was IBS show, the biggest show of the year. Like 100,000 people attended it. So I booked it, and my daughter, she's 15, asked me to be chaperone with her Spanish class. They were going to the zoo. I did not put it on my calendar, and that trip was extremely hard to book. I actually ended up booking 2 different hotels because not a single hotel have double 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
So finally booked the flights, got a ticket to the IBS, everything, and then she's like, what do you mean you're going to Florida next week? You said you're going to be chaperone. And I've never done it before. I don't know what it means, like going on a school bus and the whole thing. It was actually, I literally first time ever learned the word chaperone, like what it means. I have to look up definition. So she's like, no, you're not going to keep your word to me. And I just couldn't do it. So I called my business partner and said, brother, I can't. I just can't. And we have like very important meetings. I mean, we're talking about raising millions of dollars and like big potential. And I said, I'm going to stay true to my family. I'm going to keep word to my daughter. And I cancel freaking like one hotel. I paid full price, like $450, like not refundable. You get a better rate. I'm like, so I lost that $450. I don't care. I got Delta credit back, but it was important. The best decision I ever made. So I called my partner and say, hey, I can't make it because I promised my daughter to be chaperone. And he said, brother, I would do the same thing. Don't worry, we'll do Zoom. We did Zoom, and it is what it is.
Good. I'm glad he said that. I mean, we could do a podcast on, fathers in construction.
You have to do what's right for them. And it's like, I'm trying to travel less. So last 2 years, I've been traveling more and more with my kids. After I sold my roofing process conference for the first time ever, my next conference, I actually brought my entire family. So they've never seen what I've built, right? Like 5 years, I did it alone. And on the year 6, when I'm no longer the owner, I got a room and my kids, my wife, all there. And it's like, that's how it is now. I have a couple of years that was so hard, like I was so disconnected, and now I'm trying to not just catch up. We travel every year. I'm trying to visit 2 new countries every year. We went to Italy, Jamaica recently, like with a family while they're young. I don't care how much it costs. I'll pull through, but I'm doing it. Like I want to go to Egypt next, Egypt and Turkey. Those 2 countries I want to go back to back next year. And
we've got a lot to talk about there because there's a wildlife sanctuary in Costa Rica. So we just got back from Panama, and that was I'd never seen my wife so happy. ABC took us down there. I swear this chick wasn't this happy when we got married. Like to see a sloth in a tree.
Maybe stop calling her chick.
So she would be up at 5 o'clock in the morning, just, looking at the tree, looking at what the sloths are doing, waiting for what they're doing. And me being a business person, I sat there and, we talked about it a little bit. By the time we left, it's like, all right, we're going to start a foundation. We're going to really invest in sanctuaries and exotic animals. But no, it's the work before when we talked, when we did our interview before, I didn't have the work-life balance. It was all work, 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 work. Now that balance means more than anything to me. That
I don't think there's a balance, but let's talk about it. Let me do proper introduction, proper start of this podcast. So it's the first time we're doing a podcast here, and the story here is we actually have a fireplace in our garage, another studio, and unfortunately something happened to it and the smoke kept coming in. I didn't want to kill both of us and my videographer, so I decided to move it here. First time in this studio. Comment below if you like our setup. I think it looks dope. But Sean Moriarty is in the studio. We visited his company and did a podcast 4 years ago. I feel like it was in another life. Brother, I want to start with you with the biggest change over the last 4 years, because we've talked on the phone the other day, is you went sober. I remember last time we were drinking and you told me, Dimitri, I want to quit drinking. And you were not just drinking that night; you were like taking shots. I remember, a tequila or something. It was like
I never took shots. I was always Tito's.
But it was a hard liquor.
Yeah, vodka.
Vodka.
Yeah, we were both drinking Tito's and Sprites like they were going out of style.
I don't think I was doing Tito's. I'm pretty sure I had wine. But tell me the story of you going sober. What did it do to you? Like, I want to hear the whole story.
Yeah, absolutely. I drank for 21 years. My dad was an alcoholic. My sister is an alcoholic. My mom is, I guess, mediocre, can kind of is getting better. Never was really a full alcoholic. I think that's why she left my dad. I would always be in the habit, come home at 5 o'clock. I would never drink during the day. I would never be a closet drinker, but, get done with work, come home, pour a drink, and drink until you go to sleep. I decided to take a look at my life. I had gone to a golf tournament. So I belong to a country club, Flying Horse. That's where we met last time. And I'll tell you what, those old fucking guys can drink, man. Like, they're pulling flasks out of their bag. They're pulling them like everywhere. And it's like, take a shot here, take a shot here, take a shot here. And it's a 3-day tournament, and then after golf, they stay until 9 or 10 o'clock in the clubhouse, and, everybody drinks, and then you go home, and then you start it again at 7 o'clock in the morning. There was a guy in Colorado Springs, and I won't mention his name, but he snuck in and he stole around $2.5 million in work from me. I was under contract. I had the choice to sue the contractor, and I didn't. That contractor decided few months after that, or a year after that, he bought a brand new Corvette. And he was, from my understanding, is that he was drinking. Well, he was going down one of the main drags in town, and he rolled the Corvette. And he didn't just die in a car accident. He burned to death. And there was something about it that just hit me. There was something about it that I didn't look at his death. I look at all the businesses he left behind. Look at all the family that he left behind. I started realizing, if I was to die tomorrow, would my wife know how to get to my crypto? If I died tomorrow, would my wife know what to do with my businesses? How set up have I really set my family if something was to happen to me? And I realized that they would be screwed. I realized how much I had to focus on them. I stayed at the hotel that night. And in the morning I called my mom, and my mom, I have a love-hate relationship with my mom. It's a very tough relationship. And I told her I need help. I don't want to do this. I've tried to do this alone. She sent me to a counselor to go probably 45 minutes away. And I talked to the counselor, and they wanted to do the micro dosing of mushrooms. They basically put you into a room and they watch how you react while you're, tripping out or whatever it is. And I sat there and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like, just, get your shit together. I went home and I talked to my wife. I never drank again. All I had to do was, I have such a love-hate relationship with my mom that I was motivated just by telling her that I had a problem to stop drinking, because that goes a lot further. I was just on Brad Lee's podcast where we talked a lot about Casa by the Sea. Did you ever hear about, did you ever watch the Netflix series, The Program? Did you ever hear about Paris Hilton and the school that she went to where she got abused, and a boarding school? So there's a boarding
I'm
school.
gonna write it down.
Yeah.
You recommend it?
Yes. So I sent you a text in it, and you're
Program?
going to watch the Brad Lee podcast. But I was locked up in Mexico for 18 months, and it was a worldwide association, WASP program. It was a level system, but I had a lot of regret, a lot of anger towards my mom for sending me. I don't think that she didn't know what she was really sending me to. It was just, I was a handful. And it was the best thing for my life at that time. I needed the correction, but it still left a lot of anger in me. It's a huge story. There's a lot. I won't bore it's not boring, actually. I won't go into everything that I did with Brad Lee, but it's just me saying that I set myself up. I knew that if I could set myself up, that I would run into a wall and I would quit drinking. That's what I did. I immediately started getting into building companies, writing books, doing all the things that I felt like I'd missed out on the last 21 years. All of a sudden, I was in a hurry to make up for all this time that I spent drinking.
So would you say that extra time from drinking gave you opportunity to do those things, or just focus?
Whew, hell yeah. When you're drinking, you don't want to do anything. You don't have, a lot of people don't have a drinking problem, but have a couple cocktails and then say, hey, I'm going to go run 5 miles. You just don't want to do it. It doesn't mean that you're a piece of shit, or that, anything's wrong with you, or you run a bad business or anything. It's just it messes with your priorities. And so, yeah, I found 2 lifetimes that I never had.
2 lifetimes.
And, especially in the time that AI is coming out, ChatGPT, learning how to write books. I started really diving into, this is why I wrote the book and started Executive Roof Coach, was I wanted to, everyone's always told me how good I am at commercial roofing and how they can't believe how much I know in commercial roofing and how they want to do what I do in commercial roofing. And I just do what I do every single day, just like any residential roofer that wakes up, they go into the office. This is their schedule. This is their plan. This is our process when a storm comes through or anything like that. It was just, it's commercial roofing is what I do. And so I started dissecting everything. I just decided to, start breaking apart how I learned, what I learned, the systems, the procedures, the ones that I tried, the ones that didn't work. I absolutely went through everything, because I was doing 2 things, right? I was analyzing my own self, and I was analyzing my business, because I was in a sober state of mind. And at the same time, I'm like, why don't I do this for other people? Why don't I break this out?
Here's my next question, and what I really want to dive into it. You are in a category of people in my book who I personally met who've lost it all several times, probably, and rebuild it. So I see in the roofing industry, we have a business of middlemen, right? Like when you don't have liability, you have a whole bunch of subs, whole bunch of sales guys. And that's the problem with the PE firms. They don't want to buy a business where it's owner operator, because what do we have? You remind me another guy here in Minnesota, Ryan. So let's say you run $10 million company, you have 5 sales guys, and then they bring you 90% of your business. And then, lead sales rep takes other 3, quits, and starts his own business. Now you back to zero, essentially. You need to hire 5 more sales reps. And a lot of times they will not just go with the sales reps. They'll take your production manager, they'll take your employees, and now they have more of your company than your company. Can you explain to our audience what is it like, the mindset and what we know between our ears that we're building? Because we think about business like PE, think about business as, employees, payroll, some kind of attachments. But I look at people like you and few others who've lost it all and rebuild it all, because essentially they are the business. They have that mindset and you cannot take it away from them.
I think that the story got misconstrued a little bit from before. I have never lost a company due to my own actions or due to financial. I had, when I first started, I started with Moriarty Roofing and Sheet Metal. That was when I was in the basement. That was with the wife. That was the very first startup. I brought a partner on in 2017, beginning of 2017. That was a bad seed. I was a partner with him for 3 or 4 years. He was stealing money. He was, it was driving me to drink crazy. I didn't like my life. I was always worried about if he was going to take the money, if, I didn't have stability in my life. So the second time that I restarted was when we actually made the decision with the attorneys and the forensic accountants that we had enough information that we wanted to serve him and get him out of the company. So given part of the process of getting out of Moriarty Roofing and Sheet Metal, that I was a partner, it was another company that I won't mention that was the parent company for Moriarty Roofing and Sheet Metal. I was still the poster child. It was a long drawn out process. So we went to so he hid for a long time, for 3 or 4 months. Nobody heard from him, attorneys, anything like that. And then all of a sudden, when he realized maybe Discovery came out or something like that, and they realized kind of what we had and what we had noticed, he decided to come back to town. And so now he hired an attorney. It was a back and forth game then. I had $80,000 to my name, and I want to say 70,000 of that went to my attorney. We completely moved locations, completely moved all of the assets. We put all the money into a bank account that was held by another, by the forensic accountant and the attorney, whatever that they worked up. And I can go into the whole story, and I won't go into the whole story. But my point in being is I've never lost a company because I failed at something. I lost it because there was a partnership. And before that was I joined into the partnership, and then I got out of the partnership. That alone is 3 companies. Now I've been in a ton of lawsuits. When you start dealing with these big general contractors that are the PE companies that are an all-in-one ecosystem, they buy the parcel of land. They have their own engineers. They have an architect inside their company. Then they have a construction company inside their whole ecosystem. And then they go all the way through to lease it out. It's kind of like getting into residential because they take shit so personal, right? They don't want to sign a change order. Their plans are always shit. It's like tract homes. It's like, all right, it's just on a bigger scale with apartment complexes. We've got these 3 types of these layouts for apartment complexes, and that's what we're just going to do, those 3 models over the next 20 years. A lot of them have kids that are just coming out of college that know construction on paper. I think that's a problem with today's industry, big time. When in the commercial world is people that don't have the field experience, the people that don't understand that water still doesn't go uphill. That, hey, I understand that looks great on a set of plans, but come build it in the field. You can't do that.
What's the biggest challenges in the commercial roofing right now, besides what you just said, compared to residential? Is it oversaturated? Do we have too many commercial companies?
No,
We don't
I
have
think
enough?
that I think more and more are jumping into it. I know they are. I think it goes into the mindset. You know, a big thing that I talk about in the book is the mindset you have to have going into commercial roofing. Is you can't step over dollars to save pennies in the best way. The biggest struggle is getting the systems in place and staying consistent. I feel that residential still has that same problem. When I build a system, I build a whole ecosystem. I build a factory. So instead of building a workflow, I build a factory. And so anyone can come in and we can set up, okay, this is this workflow here, this is this workflow here, this is this workflow here. But if you look at things more in an ecosystem, in a factory setting, I set this process to accomplish this, to do this, and realize the full circle. It makes everything a lot more digestible and you understand a lot of things. When people grow, they actually step back from the company a little bit. It gives them an excuse not to work in the company as much as because they're always working on, all of a sudden working on their Ferrari is working on the company, right? It's permission for an owner to step back and let the system take place. And then in a few months or a year, sit there and be like, why are we having money flow problems? Well, because the main brain left the fucking scene.
Let me ask you something. My perception of big commercial business is probably one of the most corrupt businesses in construction. I've read a lot of stories and I've seen a lot of bankruptcies and stuff. The way I see it, it always goes the same. So someone at the top have these big contracts, whether it's HOAs or some kind of organization, some kind of board somewhere. They're sitting on $10 million, $300 million projects, right? Like stadiums, lifetime fitness contracts, Amazons, right? So you have someone at the top who holds the bag. And then you have next layer who wants it, right? And everybody wants a little kickback,
Yep.
right? And then people at the bottom, they usually get screwed the most, and someone will always file bankruptcy at the end of the construction. How do you explain a raise of the cost? I mean, in this country, it's corrupt. Like where I come from, I remember when Russia won Olympic Games, like the contract. So 2018, but it's either Olympic Games or, we got World Soccer, World Soccer Championship, and then we got. They built one stadium. The winning bidder was $1 billion. The end cost was $8 billion.
Yeah.
How do you go from $1 billion to $8 billion? Welcome to Russia. But here, I believe you also increase the cost and stuff, but someone just files bankruptcy because you can't just keep building. But we also have
they get put into a system. I will give you a very good example of my own life. So I was talking to you about the contractor that I was doing all their apartment complexes. I was doing 4 to 5 a year. I think in the 5-year relationship, I did $12 million in apartment complexes for him. I got stuck. I couldn't get out. I had to keep taking contracts. I had a relationship with them to where it's like, no, well, you're going to keep giving me jobs and I'm going to have to do it for what I need to because my whole company became dependent on that. That was when I was like, holy shit, we have to change something big time. I was stuck. I couldn't get out of it. So I'll take it even a little bit further. So we just signed a contract, 3,500 squares, a large industrial building, $2 million contract. And, you got the estimate. It's the biggest roof I ever did. And I'm sitting there and I'm just not even a smile on my face. And I'm like, show me your numbers. And I look at the margins and I go, man, I really hope you have room for a mistake in there. I really do. It's like, he's sitting there, he's going and celebrating at night. And I'm sitting there looking at my wife and like, well, all right, I'm going to do this quality control. I'm going to go in and bid it myself. I'm going to look at everything. And I found one mistake that he made that was $100,000 mistake. And so I actually was able, I was up front with the GC. I talked to him. I explained what had happened. They had found something like $70,000 in another sheet metal line item. They said, we'll turn this over to you. And I was like, okay, so that makes it a little bit, easier to swallow. But people just think they want to be in commercial because, oh, we got $1 million contracts. They have all this. What the fuck's $1 million contract on a 3%, on a margin? Oh, I'm going to get my supplier to give me a kickback. I'm going to get my manufacturer to give me a kickback. Okay. I just did one insurance job for it was 117 squares. It started at 300,000, closed it at 996,000 in 6 weeks. And it's 117 squares. Yeah, it might be a hell of a fucking tear off. And we did really good with insurance, but you got to stop looking at the numbers. You can't say it doesn't matter that you do $20 million a year. If you're doing $20 million a year at a 5% fucking margin, you don't have a company.
I remember US Bank Stadium here. One of the largest subs, it was a giant Duralast portion. The sub who did, the sub who did it filed bankruptcy. Like same thing. It was they made a giant mistake. I think it's hard to even calculate the percentages on those. And then Thor Construction here in Minneapolis, $350 million bankruptcy. They did US Bank Stadium. They did like biggest contracts you can think of. $350 million in bankruptcy.
Yeah, no, so my question would be, was it a Chapter 11, a Chapter 7? What type of bankruptcy it is? Most likely it was a Chapter 7. That's one thing about commercial roofing. If you're going to get into commercial roofing, you need to get into your company setup. You need to get into how your assets are protected, because it's not about I'll just do everything better and I'll never find myself in these fucking lawsuits. Okay, bullshit. You will absolutely find yourself in the lawsuits. I used to have an in-house attorney. Like, that's how much that it was playing.
Who is suing who? Like who is usually suing who? Like, give me an example.
Yep.
Why do you have your attorney?
So most of the time, change orders not getting approved, pay application stop. Here's how it works in the commercial game. And this is new construction, worst part of commercial to be in, but I will tell you how it works. I go in and I'm doing a $2 million apartment complex, and I get halfway through and I get into an argument with the general contractor. They decide, all right, we're going to hold pay on this. We're going to hold pay on this. Their contract allows it. You sign their contract. You can have your revisions to the contract, but it's at the end of the day, it's still a contract. So I am stuck having to finish this project, and they have stopped payment on everything. Well, here's the problem. If you stop working, then they can supplement you and charge whatever the hell they want, whether they were right or they were wrong. They're going to come after you, and you're not going to get anything. So it's a whole. So I have an apartment complex that I just finished. Guess what? I finished it. I turned over their warranties. I handed over the 10-day intent to lien, and I believe in a few days they will get the lawsuit because they removed $248,000 from one of our contracts. And you can't do that. It's just, like legit. Like, I can't even believe I thought I had seen it all. I hadn't. Like, this, my attorney looks at this thing and goes, oh, this is a slam dunk. But here's the deal. For me to be in the slam dunk position for the past year, I have personally had to fund this project, from everything from the half round gutters to the paver systems to, providing the warranties, paying for the warranties, turning everything over, paying for all of the materials that they didn't pay for.
Why do you feel like GCs are so bad at paying roofers and everybody else? Is it because they're also broke and they also mismanage their?
No, I think it's the owners. I think it's the people that they respond to. I think a lot of GCs misappropriate their funds and don't, because get it straight. A GC's job is to organize the job site, is to organize all of the trades and make sure everybody stays on a schedule. and trust that all of their trades are doing the right thing. But these owners, think, all you roofers out there, think about how many times it's time for you to review invoices for people that have done your jobs, and you're like, oh, you didn't install that sidewall. Nope, I'm not paying that much for a skylight flashing kit. I'm not doing that. That's what the owners are doing to them, and they have no choice but to pass it down. So I think that when it comes to the owner and the bank, that is their excuse to say, nope, be strict here, because laws went from 10% to 5% on retainage. People can no longer hold 10% of a contract for retainage. They can only hold 5%. And that changed in 2022. So people
for like cosmetic and for change orders, or like
retainage on. So if you've got $1 million contract,
punch slide items.
Yep. And they don't turn it over. They don't release depreciation, or it's like depreciation.
Yeah.
They don't release retainage until the whole project is complete. That's why one of the first things that my contract, all right, hey, cool, we got this $2 million roof. All right, I have my accounting department review, then I have my estimator review, and we've got our checklist. All right, what are the payment terms? When do we need to have pay applications turned in by? When do they need to pay by? How do they treat change orders? There's so many steps and processes you have to put in place.
Well, are you officially in a coaching game now? Like, what do you see? Like, if I sit next to you in an airplane, say, what do you do, Sean? What do you answer? You wear more executive roof coach hat or business owner hat?
I run 3 businesses. We are starting a foundation. And I also have a coaching service.
Is foundation nonprofit or for profit?
Nonprofit.
Nonprofit.
It's kind of like the Tony Robbins Meals on Wheels type deal. I wanted to be, all right, if I could save 1 billion animals, provide 1 billion meals to animals a day, it's kind of along those lines. I can save 1 billion broken legs of, when an animal falls from a tree, they don't just get better, they take them in, and the foundations we work with release the animals back into the wild.
Why animals? And what
simple.
kind of animals?
It's real simple. It's because that's what my wife and kids love. I am a builder. I'm a creator. I enjoy the chaos of building.
Hold on. It's funny because last time I saw this guy, we were at a zoo. Like, fun fact, we were at a zoo.
The silverback gorilla.
Yeah, silverback gorilla. It was so freaking cold too. They did a job there, like probably not related to this. But.
Yeah, we did $1 million slate job. We on the admin building, Vermont hand slit slate. It was fantastic.
It was a cool project. Yeah. So any animal, just
toucans, sloths. And monkeys, like the howler monkeys and things like that, real exotic jungle. I'm to the point now where I have been my whole life has been focused on making everybody happy.
Have you seen videos with the punch the monkey?
Yeah.
Oh man, like my kids hate me for it. Like we started the morning, it was like, guys, there's an update. He has new friends, and they're like, you and your monkey. Like I love that story. And the funnest, newest trend I've seen yesterday, I thought I will fall off the chair. This guy at the gym just bought the same orangutan as he's carrying and just goes at the gym and just carries it around. He's like, I don't have any friends in my gym, and just goes around. I'm like, I'm going to buy the freaking orangutan. I'm lonely. Like, I need that. I'm Punch.
No, it's like all the AI video. Like I actually did one. I'll show you after we're done. So I built one of the ways I quit drinking was I filled my mind. And I want to talk a little bit after this. I want to get into, so remind me, in talking about stress isn't bad for you. Boredom is.
Oh,
that's
I would agree with it.
I do want to talk about that a little bit. Where was I before that?
Monkeys.
I am to the point in my life where I want to put smiles on my kid's face. I want to put smiles on my wife's face. I have been grind, and I kind of forgot that that I have a family that is supporting me through this whole thing. That my best cheerleaders, like I could read my text messages to you right now of on the way over here. You know, hey, we're about to get this done. And my wife's just cheering me on, you know, you've got this, you know, have fun. Um, that smile, that happiness is so much more to me than a paycheck. And I'm to the point now where I want to express that to people. I want to share that to people. At the same time, I'm sick and fucking tired of getting all these roofs that look like shit. Is paying attention to people's content that's just wrong. That's like, no, that's not how you flash a curve. This is how you flash a curve. That's not how you probe a seam. This is how you probe a seam. All the way into, you know, I'm not going to mention the name. You might drop the name because you know who I'm talking about here. But I took a very big program of theirs when we first met. I paid $50,000 for it. And we started getting into the weekly coaching course. And the weekly coaching course was people from all over the United States. And everybody had an opinion on how to do something. Well, here's the problem. I have people in Florida telling my people in Colorado all the ventilation codes down there and everything that you have to do. My Colorado guy is going to say, all right, we're going to be dealing with this humidity and we're going to be, no, it's the driest fucking climate in the world. It's just the rooms were mixed together and there was no control. And so ever since that, I really had in the back of my mind, I've always been a teacher. I've always been a speaker, that I want to teach people this stuff. I had to quit drinking to be able to get to that point.
Let's talk about coaching. What's the difference between snake oil salesman and a really good coach in this industry?
Yeah.
Do we need another coach?
I don't think the world needs more coaches, but I think that last time that we talked about coaching, and I've learned something from them, that coaches need to evolve with your state of life. When I met with you the first time, I was just trying to get through every day to day. I was trying to get through the stresses. I had a different coach. Now my coach is worth $100 million. He's got 3 Ferraris, a few Lamborghinis. He has the success. He's built his company up to 400 agents. And he has nothing to do with the roofing industry. So he can sit back and he can reflect that mirror on me and say, dude, this is nothing that you have. I don't even know the roofing game. And, you know, this is where you are. And it's like, fuck, the writing was right on the wall the whole time. I think that there's a lot of people that try to be coaches. I can tell you I probably spent at least $750,000 on coaches in my lifetime. My most expensive coach that I ever had was one session for $5,000. I was like, hey, I just got to try this experiment. I got to see what's this person selling for like what's this hour gonna be that's worth $5,000. It was amazing, is what it was. She taught me gratitude. She taught me how big tech industry CEOs think. She coached the CEO of Reddit. It's like, for example, you know Brad Lee. My buddy is really good friends with Brad Lee, Josh Galindo. And Josh Galindo is actually was in Mexico with me in that program. I realized the lifestyle difference. I realized how he runs a company. I realized that, hey, he's worth millions and millions and tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars. He looks really fucking stressed out. That it doesn't change, that it's about how you perceive things. So I go back to saying, I believe in coaching with people that have experience coaching, not just someone that has been through the experience, not someone that, oh, I lost $100,000 on this job. Now I can I can coach millions of people that are in that position. No, Dimitri, I need to be able to relate to the way that you're operating in business. I need to have dealt with people that are worth millions and millions and millions of dollars so that I know what the difference is between them and someone doing 10,000.
When you hire your coach who worth, 3 Ferraris, $100 million, is your goal to get to that level?
100 million, yep.
Do you hire a coach because where he's at, or because of his experience, how he can help you? How does someone hire his first coach?
You have to be able to connect. You have to have somebody that can take control. You have to have somebody that can take the reins. My biggest thing about not every coaching, I do weekly coaching every Wednesday. Not all of them are beneficial. Sometimes we're just chatting about things. But what he is he is there for me when I need him the most. When I have stuff that I don't want to talk about to other people, not even to my family, that can help turn that around and put me into a position to understand the meaning of why it's happening. So my first thing that I would look at if I was looking for a coach is I would look at, hey, what is their experience? I would look at their revenue. I would look at their financial, and I would say, this guy has been through these pains. This guy has been through these gains. I don't want somebody guessing on what my next future was. I just had somebody call me yesterday, and I was leaving the airport to go to the Airbnb, and they were trying to sell me coaching. And I go, tell me what coach you have has $100 million in their account. I said, have a good day. Click. Because I'm to that state in my life to where I need to learn from my coach. I don't need somebody that's just on ChatGPT, that's just.
What if it's a fitness coach or a religious coach, like spiritual coach? Like what if you have
compassion and confidence in you? I just started CrossFit. So I've been doing it for 2 or 3
Welcome
weeks.
to the cult, brother.
Welcome to the fucking It's like,
I did it this morning.
5:15 in the morning.
How long have you been doing it?
Oh, we're talking 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Like just started. But it was part of that. It was, hey,
Good for you.
I have to make that change eventually.
You'll never be the same.
No, I don't think I will. And I can sit here and I can stress out about $100,000. I'm more stressed out about what I'm going to do in fucking fitness. I'm more stressed out of how I'm going to handle the bar. Oh shit, am I going to remember how to do all of this shit? I stress out more than that than $1 million lawsuit, But what kept me with the CrossFit coach or trainer, I should say, in that state is he had confidence in me and he genuinely cared. It wasn't oversaturated. We're kind of in a smaller town. We're outside of Colorado Springs. And I remember looking at him and I go, you know why I'll show up tomorrow? I said, because you genuinely care. You care about me being a better person. And I can tell that this isn't some bullshit spiel off the street. You truly want to see you. I see you have a goal to see how much you can transform in me. And I appreciate that.
If someone's stuck at $2-3 million a year, what advice would you have for them? Like they just can't pass, but they're trying to pass $2-3 million. Not that it's $2-3 million bad, but they're just stuck. Is it a market limit? Is it a mindset limit? Can anybody go to $10-15 million?
Anybody can scale to whatever they want. It's about systems. It's about the systems that you integrate into your company. A lot of people think that the answer is, oh, I need 100 leads. That's what I need. You wouldn't know what to fucking do with 100 leads. How do you nurture them? How do you, put them into the proper funnel? I didn't really learn that until I started until I started advertising things outside of the roofing company. Till I started, all right, hey, we've got executive roof coach. We're going to put this in this go high level funnel from here, 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 and here. And now I need to push this to here. I need to push this to there. The problem is people think that the answer is quantity. No, the answer is staying in front of those people. The answer is nurturing those leads. The answer is making sure that you don't lose sight of them. Because guess what? They might not need a roof in 6 months or a year, and they might be going through some financial troubles. But I can tell you that they reached out to you for a reason. So whether it's now or if it's in 5 years, you've got to stay in front of them. And that is, I go into a big deal about how to use AI. All these guys, oh, if you're not implementing AI, you don't know what you're doing. Well, that fucking person saying that doesn't know what AI is. Like, he really doesn't. Like, we don't come in and replace people from AI. What we do is we go in and we determine what in our system we can make faster by implementing it. So, for example, my goal in my estimating department is we are implementing AI. We're doing AI blueprint takeoffs. It's not to fire my estimators. It's how do I increase the confidence in them, and how do I make them do times 10 with those two guys?
Absolutely. What's dead in marketing, in your opinion? How much money you lost in marketing?
You're gonna love this shit. So last time we talked, I lost a lot of money in marketing, and there's a lot of people that even to this day that I'm still a little sour on. I think that a big problem is people trust in agencies. And what I've learned is I have learned a certain ecosystem using Upwork, Fiverr, whatever it may be, to be able to build something that I am the core in. And where I can, hey, like I said, I like building companies. I like operating. So now I've got 3 content editors. I've got 2 SEO guys. I got an AEO guy. I've got, I've got someone that's constantly looking at the metrics of my website. I look at marketing agencies now as a spray and pray kind of type deal. I went through a very bad experience after we met last time, worse than even before that. And the owners had no clue what was going on. They just didn't. And after 2 years, I was a bigger person in Denver than I was in Colorado Springs, because I had made so much money outside of the marketing throughout like my new construction and everything. I had made so much money that I had an excuse not to pay attention. And then that stepping away just really, really opened my eyes up. But I think the worst thing that somebody can do is hire an agency. And the reason is because that's all right. Here's this. You have, I'm going to step back and I'm just going to expect results, respect results. It's why I started Executive Roof Coach. How can you sell roofing when you don't know roofing? You've got to know the fundamentals. You've got to know how the car starts, right? Before you can go and sell a beautiful Range Rover or a wonderful Cadillac.
Stop with the Range Rovers.
We've moved on to it.
Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah. The new Cadillacs are pretty awesome. So
I'll take that.
We got a Platinum Sport, and that's
little roofing show off.
It's it's confidence. It makes you feel good. Nice things make you feel good. It's hard to keep the headspace and the motivation when you're getting into the same broken garage, the same broken car. There has to become a point where you choose in your life that I have gone through enough struggle and enough pain that I deserve something a little bit more.
And if you can afford it, you deserve. I'll push a little bit back, but I agree 100%. Like, we spend most of our time in our cars, in our houses, right? Like in a hotel room. Like, I don't want to stay in a tiny hotel room. I want a little bit bigger. I want my mind.
Sweet.
Yeah, like I just want to be open. Like your brain works better in a bigger space. You drive nice car. You drive home. You're actually enjoying your spot. We have too many. I work too hard. I need it. I work too hard. I deserve it. You deserve what you can afford. So it proves, yeah, you might have $100,000
cash. Don't fucking buy it.
Or if you cannot buy it twice, you can't afford it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So 100%. Next question. When should an owner step out of
Fast
production?
as possible.
Working with their hands,
Yep.
but like production.
As soon as you have the system in place on how the factory, then that owner needs to step back and oversee the metrics of that department. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I'm not, an owner should never jump out completely unless you bring in the COO and they kind of handle everything. And they need to get that point to a system to where all they do is say, all right, well, why did you skip this step? Why did you skip this step? Okay, how do I make sure they don't skip this step? And that's how they keep the temperature.
What's something roofers overcomplicate?
Life. I think they overcomplicate getting customers.
Good one.
I think that it's customers.
Customers.
Absolutely. It's not the marketing. It's anything like that. It's they overcomplicate keeping a customer. A lot of owners don't know the ecosystem of a customer. Like we were talking earlier about Lee Height and knowing the ecosystem. Treat people like you want to be treated. Do not bring somebody in the middle. Don't bring the homeowner or the building owner in the middle of your own battle. Keep the customer's happiness in mind. At the end of the day, I think that a lot of these roofers come in, this is how you do this. This is how you do this. Fuck your insurance company. We're going to sue them. Fucking sue and whatever that Lee Height says.
Roof and sue.
Yeah, roof and sue. It's the dumbest shit I ever fucking heard. It literally is. And it goes to show the immaturity in the mind. And this is from a coach that has coached a lot of people. If I step back and I look at that and I say, hey, and I look at him, I sit there and I say, he's got some battles in his head. He's gone through some trauma.
Boxing comes with the trauma.
Boxing comes with the and I don't know the guy to save my life. I really don't. He could be a great guy. But what I perceive from what he puts across the internet is that no, he's not a good guy. That he's going to put customers in a position that they don't want to be in. It creates a bad taste in the mouth for all of us in the industry. So he deals with somebody like Lee Height, and then that adjuster immediately comes to my inspection. Well, he's going to be all pissed off, and now I'm because of some bullshit that, I'll just throw your ass off the roof, whatever it may. You know what I mean? It's
gives all of us bad name.
It gives all of us a bad name. What happened to respect? What happened? I don't give a shit what a fucking adjuster tells me. I really don't. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to listen to him, and I'll have my couple points, but at the end of the day, I'll deal with it afterwards. Okay. I'm not going to sit there and try to change your mind. I'm not going to sit there and try to convince you why I'm right and you're wrong, because I don't know who you've seen before this. So give me your opinion. Do what you do. Admit there's damage, and I'll handle it from there.
Love it. What's the big opportunity roofers aren't paying attention to?
The big opportunity that roofers aren't paying attention to: service.
Like maintenance?
Service and maintenance. Repeat business. Property managers, maintenance programs. Like we've got the RAM program, a roof asset management program. We actually just came out with 2.0 where we integrate AI and, all of that good stuff. But I think that everybody is constantly trying to get new customers instead of trying to keep everybody a repeat customer. I'm not saying don't find new customers, but I'm saying once they do something for them, they're gone. They're out of their life. What happened to the Christmas card going to your customers? What happened to this person really, I've had a few customers that stick out in my mind. I had one that gave me a bunch of coral. We did like a $500,000 insurance claim from the Broadmoor storm that we talked about in our previous deal. I barely remember his insurance claim, but I remember him. I remember the coral that he gave me. I remember kind of like the story with the flag. People forget that people are still human, and that personability, I think that's how you say that, is gone. I think that people need to step back and treat somebody like, hey, this is your home. You've worked your ass off to get it. I'm going to do the best service for you. I'm not going to sign a contract and you'll never see me again, turn it over to production and, oh, what do you mean you don't have that done yet? And it's 6 months later. Well, no, it's because the person that sold them, that is they didn't sell the company. The person sold themselves, stepped out. And so I think that personal relationship and repeat business.
Roofers stay broke because
I think that they don't know their numbers. I think that they chase the big numbers, not paying attention to the small numbers. And they don't realize how much the small numbers make up. Back to, the big job that we sold, 3,500 squares, $2 million. All right. The risk compared to the reward, it would make you throw up. It really would. It's a job that could sink you for what? A few $100,000? Like it's not worth it.
Which kills more companies, ego or ignorance?
I think it's both. I think ignorance leads to false ego. And I think that ego gets in the way of systems being implemented into your company. It makes it emotional. I think that it's both. Yeah, it's both.
If you would lose everything tomorrow, what's your first move?
What motivates me? I would focus on
CrossFit?
I would focus on what motivates me to be a better person to build again. I would focus on my internal self, and then I would look at absolutely everything. I would research everybody's failures. You always hear everybody's wins and how wonderful everybody does. I don't pay attention to any of that shit. I want to know the people that lost. I want to know the people that are struggling. I want to learn from other people's mistakes. So I think that that's the big deal. I think that if you can learn to pay attention to someone else's mistakes and learn from their mistakes, makes you a lot more powerful in being able to fix something when things get hard.
What's your take on rejuvenation, Go Nano, Roof Max, all of those products?
How do I feel about Roof Max and all those products?
Yeah. Do they work?
Fuck no. Absolutely not. I think it's a Band-Aid on a.
But you previously said that you think the future is in a service.
Mhm.
That's one of the services.
That's not a service. That's a Band-Aid that's not a fixing a leak. That's a rejuvenating. Let me bring the moisture back in the shingle so I have
But
vibrant colors.
If you get 5 more years, like I'll give you examples.
Mhm.
You're the first roofer who came to my house and did not say that I need new roof. So I have a 3-tab, right? And I said, I'm not going to actually do it. It doesn't leak. My chimney does not work, but my roof does not leak. And I treated with the Go Nano on each faucet, like just half and half. I'm
Mhm.
like, my goal is to see how much I can get out of it. I want to test every product out there. By the way, here's an idea. Roof Max, Ugly Roof, Go Nano. Let's put all of them on each faucet and like half and half, and let's see which one will last more. Because if I can get extra 5 years, why do I need to replace roof today?
I agree. I think that we should do something like that. We should do it together, and you should do it on the residential side, and I should do it on the commercial side of comparing acrylic, silicone coatings, me doing my commercial maintenance compared to your roof max side.
Mhm.
And then I would sit back and I would say, hey, at the end of the day, a product has benefit if it benefits you. I don't know their financial situation. So if they haven't started budgeting for a new roof, but they have, does Roof Max claim to solve leaks?
Well, you have to repair it, and that's where service comes in. So you have to go and repair. Like if you have blown shingles, if you
Mhm.
have flashing, you still have to repair it before you do it. Otherwise, it makes no sense.
So my question is, what benefit if you go in and you repair it? Because that's very
Because
similar
it
to a
makes
roof
it
asset
actually-
management.
It makes it more pliable, so more repairable. If you have very dry shingles, you can't like lift them. Now, if you reactivate it, it's more pliable. It's actually more repairable. So it's actually does have benefits even for repairs.
So I would go a little bit further and I would say, well, I know that, for example, with a coating, that they say they don't want you to coat anything that is less than 2 years old, because they want the product to be able to absorb. They don't want it to be a brand new product. So I would flirt with it in the line of I can't tell you if it's a good product or a bad product without knowing the customer that it is receiving it. Because if it is a repair and it's going to give them another 5 or 10 years and they can barely make ends meet, then I'm going to say, yes, that's a good product for that person's scenario. But when it comes into, hey, these are the standards, it's a roofing company owner's roof and they're making plenty of money, I would say, okay, hey, would you use Roof Max or would you just reshingle it? So I think it depends on the financial situation of the customer.
Most overrated thing in the roofing right now.
I'm starting to see it, I think, wind down, but I think storms. I think that storm chasers is probably more how I should get a little bit more specific.
Everybody's getting in the retail game.
I agree with that. And I see it. And that's a good thing for the market. I think we're going to see it rapidly. Just the generation that's growing up, and there's going to be a lot more technology involved. There's not going to be the 3-man band that wants to jump in a truck and we're going to go set with a company in Minnesota and we're going to make you a poster child and we're going to sell 5 million. No, I think people are building their own companies and they're choosing to stay in their territories and make a brand for themselves. It's really nice to see. It really is. So I think I think last year I only had one storm chaser try to come set with me, compared to it's usually 3 or 4 or 5.
High pressure sales, dead or alive? Do you still see a lot of companies doing high pressure sales?
No, I don't think. I barely see companies doing sales. It's like it's
What are they doing?
praying. I think that it's a turn and burn game. I think that you are running into less and less people that have a pipeline, that are reliant on the company for bringing in the leads instead of my book of business goes everywhere with me.
Got it. Give me 1 second.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna start my car so we can go for lunch. Yeah, come on in.
But I'm fucking bougie in my Range Rover.
Are you okay with the Grand Wagoneer
Yeah.
for lunch?
I will settle. You got to talk shit, or you gotta have that friendship. If somebody can't take the heat, then get the fuck out of the
You
kitchen.
haven't heard the heat yet. You just like it that I went to CrossFit by myself today. One hire that changed everything.
Me.
You
Me.
explain.
I work for a company. All of you guys work for a company. You own LLCs. You might have an S corp. At the end of the day, and the way of the system is you work for a company. And so for me, it used to be put a COO in place, right? Now it's
You've done it, right? But you put a CEO.
yeah, I've got 3 right now across all my companies. But my mentality has changed in a way that I have to pay attention to what that person is doing so much. And it's easier for me to put a system in place and automation these days compared to somebody running my operation.
Hmm.
So I think that business owners need to remember that you are going to have repercussions if you get out of your company as fast as possible. I learned that the hard way. I don't have everything perfect, but I can tell you that if I had to do it over again, I would have forced myself to go through more of the trenches, go through more of the process and procedure instead of pushing it off on somebody to just, hey, take care of these problems. While I went off and started other companies and did all this other stuff, I would have gotten more control of what I had before I went and built.
Got it. Last question. What separates $1 million company from $10 million company?
I think that there's a big part of mindset in that. But again, here's a good example. I got a lead this morning on Executive Roof Coach, or a lead the other day, and they had their sales call this morning. And the guy said, I budgeted $1,000 to make $600,000 in 2026. Our course is not in his budget, so therefore he doesn't want to do it. And I kindly wrote back in the internal message and I said, he is not a fit. If he's only willing to put $1,000 into changing himself, he will never see the 600,000. So
give advice to someone in the industry who've never hired a coach before, who wants to grow and scale. I see that information is no longer a problem, right? Like you can go to YouTube, you can go to Netflix.
You have an influx of information now, right?
Yeah, too much. So give advice to someone who may be overwhelmed with information, doesn't know how to grow, and doesn't have money.
Channel it. There is 5 million people out there that give, and I'm using real estate for an example, that everybody knows how to flip a house. Everybody knows the ins and the outs. Find that person that you enjoy and realize that everything else is noise. You can listen to what somebody else says, but you still have to stay on your path. Other words, all the noise is just going to pull you aside, and you're going to sit there and you're going to be sitting at ChatGPT and you're going to sit there and you're going to, I don't even know where to start. You still have to pick a lane and stay in it.
Love it. We're going to wrap it up for today. Comment below what you guys think about this episode. I'll put Sean's information with a link to his awesome new book in description. Hope you get it. Highly recommend. And follow Sean on all social media. What's the best way to contact you?
At I am Sean Moriarty. That's SeanMoriarty on Instagram, and same thing on Facebook. So appreciate everything, and follow us on Executive Roof Coach as well.
Awesome. Thank you for flying in. Let's go have lunch.
Let's do it.
See you guys next week.